brink of World War III because Donald Trump took the worst possible option given to him at a slideshow.
In this country, we have begun to overestimate the dangers of impeachment and underestimate the dangers of a deranged president retaining control over a nuclear hyperpower. We cannot wait around while Donald Trump is in control of the nuclear weapon.
Your objection to potentially going into World War III cannot be procedural.
The biggest danger of the Trump presidency is that we are always just a Trump whim away from nuclear war.
They say it's World War III, but I'm looking out my window. It's very quiet in those smoking craters out there.
Has to be told that it's his job to avoid World War III.
One Democratic congressman sent me a note this evening and say this president wants this war.
A few years later.
It looks like President Trump has actually pulled off something here that many presidents before him have failed to do.
Just need to underscore what an enormous moment this is for so many people in this region, for the people of Gaza who have endured 2 years of war, for the families of these 48 remaining hostages.
Yeah, because I saw the folks in Gaza celebrating and yelling Trump's name. Trump, Trump, he's our man. If he can't do it, no one can. Out there chanting. Folks in Israel celebrating. But I guarantee you, our Democrats over here sucking on lemons. I bet you they over there like, God, dog, this dude.
Who have endured 2 years of absolute agony. This is a watershed moment.
Heard it again and again from a number of people today, really giving credit to President Trump for getting this deal over the finish line. What are you hearing from your sources with regard to President Trump's role in getting both parties to sign off on at least the first phase of this peace plan?
Well, certainly this is an enormous moment for the world, but also for this administration, a big win for the president who has been very personally involved in this, Lindsay.
It's a major accomplishment for President Trump, something that he's been really trying to work toward. There's been a lot of critics and questioning of whether or not he could pull off sort of negotiating and working to try to get...
What? You got to be kidding me. Look at this. I need y'all to do me a favor. Hit that like button, share my videos. Please make sure you subscribe. Make sure your notification buttons are turned on to all. Subscribe to my alternative channel just in case YouTube give me the slip or something. You'll know how to find me. Don't forget to check me out with all the podcasts and follow me on Rumble and the Jungle. All the links are listed below. If you want to donate to my channel, feel free. Those links are below as well. The rumor is that Trump's a dictator, and he's a tyrant. And he probably is a warmonger. He loves war. He loves war. And he likes to see the suffering, the pain and suffering of people for no reason. He's just an evil villain. That's all, no motivation, just like I like evil. And I'm going to do evil stuff. And then he goes ahead and does something that just blows the media's mind. They don't know what to do with this. So they're going to do the best they can do to explain this anomaly. Why this evil man would work hard to negotiate peace between Israel and Palestine. So let's get into it. And look at this meme, y'all. This right here is so true. Up at the top it says, Gaza peace deal announced and major victory for Trump's administration. And on this side, you got the people in Gaza saying, please work. And on this side, you got the liberals who saying, please fail. And you know why? Because this right here, number one, has been done by Trump. And number two, you already know that all these people running around talking about free Palestine, what are they going to do? What are they going to do with their life? They're going to be like, what, free? What, is free? Okay, well, we got to get mad over something else. I mean, where's Greta Thunberg going to go and sell off to now? Where's she going to sell off to now? So let's go ahead and see how this all pans out.
We're on the brink of World War III because Donald Trump took the worst possible option given to him at a slideshow.
In this country, we have begun to overestimate the dangers of impeachment and underestimate the dangers of a deranged president retaining control over a nuclear hyperpower. We cannot wait around while Donald Trump is in control of the nuclear weapon.
Your objection to potentially going into World War III cannot be procedural.
The biggest danger of the Trump presidency is that we are always just a Trump whim away from nuclear war.
They say it's World War III, but I'm looking out my window. It's very quiet in those smoking craters out there.
Has to be told that it's his job to avoid World War III.
One Democratic congressman sent me a note this evening and say this president wants this war.
What's this war, y'all? Now, I'm still perplexed how we managed to get through the first 4 years without World War III. I'm still perplexed. You would have thought that would have been his first thing he did when he got in. But he managed to keep us out of any wars. And now all of a sudden he gets reelected. And of course, you know, us showing strength and being very strategic with our strikes or things that we feel we need to do, get in and get out. Every time Trump says, look, man, I'm not trying to drag us into a long war, but I'm not going to let us be taken advantage of. I'm going to make sure we do smart things to stay safe. And when he does it, then, of course, it's just World War III, overreactions. Now what are they going to say? So here they all are, right there, predicting World War III.
A few years later.
Make no mistake, it looks like President Trump has actually pulled off something here that many presidents before him have failed to do.
Just need to underscore what an enormous moment this is for so many people in this region, for the people of Gaza who have endured 2 years of war, for the families of these 48 remaining hostages.
Yeah, because I saw the folks in Gaza celebrating and yelling Trump's name. Yelling Trump's name. The white supremacist, white nationalist, anti-Semitic, anti-Islamic, and all of that stuff. They were yelling his name. Isn't that odd? Isn't that odd how so many other countries can appreciate Trump and yet our dummies here can't? I mean, all of those other conflicts that he was solving in Africa and all these other places, India, they're all celebrating. They're all going, yeah, Trump deserves the Nobel Peace Prize. Trump, he's our man. If he can't do it, no one can. Out there chanting. Folks in Israel celebrating. But I guarantee you, our Democrats over here sucking on lemons. I bet you they over there like, God, dog, this dude. Ain't nothing worse than an opponent like Trump, who every time you try to destroy him, badmouth him, and do all of these things, somehow he comes through, does something amazing, then now you got to try to pretend it ain't good. And everybody else is looking at you like, are you kidding me? Y'all can't celebrate this? It just reveals you just simply are anti-Trump. So now, let's see all these people now got to eat some crow on these fake networks and say this was a good thing.
Who have endured 2 years of absolute agony. This is a watershed moment.
Heard it again and again from a number of people today, really giving credit to President Trump for getting this deal over the finish line. What are you hearing from your sources with regard to President Trump's role in getting both parties to sign off on at least the first phase of this peace plan?
Just tell us. I want to know what the anti-Semitic white supremacists did to make this happen. And then I got some questions. I got some questions about where was Creepy, Sleepy, and all of them when all of this was going on. Why would Trump even bother to try to bring peace? Now, the odd thing about this, as these folks right here are forced to give Trump the credit and kind of lightweight praise him, they will go right back to saying he's a dictator, white supremacist, and he's unexistent people, and he's disappearing people. They'll go right back to that next week. They'll forget about this. You know, and they will make this seem as if this right here is not a permanent attribute of Trump's character. You know, this is just a one-off. He woke up with the goodness sickness. I feel good today. That's unusual. Normally I feel evil, but I'm suffering from goodness, so I'm going to solve this war. But other than that, he goes right back to being a dictator. He goes right back to being, of course, a white supremacist and stuff. And they're going to try to make people forget about this and not have them apply what Trump is doing, not only over there and in other countries, to his character. So they ain't going to let people think about this too long before they start reminding them how Trump is Hitler.
Well, certainly this is an enormous moment for the world, but also for this administration, a big win for the president who has been very personally involved in this, Lindsay.
It's a major accomplishment for President Trump, something that he's been really trying to work toward. There's been a lot of critics and questioning of whether or not he could pull off sort of negotiating and working to try to get...
What? You got to be kidding me. Look at this. I mean, man, I don't know who got hold to people to make them come out and say nice things right now. But I'm flabbergasted. But you know why Trump was able to pull this off? One of the things is something simple. He's able to talk. See, Creepy couldn't pull nothing off. He probably didn't even know these wars were going on. And if he did, you think that man has the mouthpiece, the stamina? You think he has the interpersonal skills, the relationship, or the respect from all these other countries to even sit and listen to him? Remember, he went over to Saudi, and when he got out there, that prince gave him a fist bump. They threw out the red carpet for Trump, was hugging him, kissing him, all of that stuff. Trump has the it factor. And of course, the Democrats have the shite factor. But let's continue hearing them go ahead and have to eat crow.
Sides together. Of course, there were a lot of nations involved. So this is, of course, not just a victory for President Trump, but really a number of Arab nations, Hamas, and of course, Israel. But this is really huge news, and the president, of course, announcing it online.
So what do you make of what the president has said in a social media post, that they've signed off on the first phase of the peace plan? What does that mean to you?
Anderson, momentous day. There's not much good news in the world. This is great news. I am trying to hold it together, honestly.
Trying to hold it together. Now, I am shocked. I have to give the fake news some credit. They are actually saying good things about this. But, you know, this would be real hard for them to come out and just straight like, this is nothing. Even though all the other peace deals, when people would bring that up, like Scott Jennings, they would always just downplay. What peace? What are you talking about? Who knows? Like, yeah, I didn't see that. I didn't see that. But for some reason now, they're all saying this is a good thing. Now, hopefully it lasts. If there is a person who could at least help keep this thing together, it would be Trump if it has a shot. Now, at some point, if you're a biblical person, if you're a Christian, you know at some point that relationship's going to fall apart again. It's going to lead to some bad things eventually. But right now, while we got it, we might as well enjoy it. Right now, if God gives a little bit of peace and relief, we might as well go ahead and take advantage of it until, ride it until the wheels fall off. And it's also great to feel good about looking at these folks have to eat that crow too. So now let's continue hearing them say bad things. Oh, wait, they ain't saying bad things about Trump this time? They got to go ahead and eat it and say, oh, this is actually, this is good. He's done a good job. How did he do it? How did he do it? How can this evil person get this done?
Worked on this issue a very long time.
That this was not doable when President Biden was in office.
Good question, finally, Abby. Now she's asking a Democrat, why wasn't this doable when Creepy Sleepy was in office? Let's hear his explanation.
I think the biggest problem that the President Biden had
was he sucked. The biggest problem was that auto pen. That's right. It was doing all the heavy lifting. The biggest problem was the Democrats' priorities were horrible. The biggest problem was the Democrats didn't have a presence. We were no longer respected on the world stage. Everybody was acting a fool. Everybody was acting a fool. Yeah, man. Iran was like, man, I'm about to fire on Israel. Israel's like, I'm firing on Iran. The Hamas. All kind of craziness was going on under Creepy. Russia, like, I'm going into Ukraine. And none of that got solved. And the sad part about it, if crazy behind Kamala Harris would have won, things would have got worse. It would have been a free-for-all. The whole world would have been acting like Washington was, acting like Chicago, acting like LA, Boston. Whole world would have went crazy. Right about now, we'd all been in church in sackcloth and ashes. There it is. We would have been in there on our knees praying, going, the rapture's coming any second now. Look at this. The world's falling apart. I mean, and yet we won. And now some order is coming back. And this is a great thing. Sackcloth and ashes. That's what it is. Now, let's hear this guy because he's a Jewish man. This dude should be happy. But now he has to try his hardest to figure out how to explain why the raggedy Biden administration couldn't get this done.
There was no pressure from Qatar, from Turkey, from Egypt. They were actually facilitating in many ways what was going on. Yeah. And that is really ultimately how it all came together.
Yeah, and the question is, why? Why weren't they on board with trying to make this stop?
But I think by saying that, it's sort of an acknowledgement Trump has changed that dynamic.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I think that.
I mean, he's clearly.
I don't know how he, and I think there's a lot that remains to learn about what prompted that change. But
yeah, you can't see it because you're a Democrat and you're a Trump hater. We can see it. I mean, when it comes down to handling world issues, I have complete confidence and faith in the Trump administration. They're smart, they're practical, they're fair, they're balanced, and they bring a presence to the world stage that makes people say, I trust them and I respect them. I see they're actually making a legitimate effort to solve problems. If there's ever a chance that we can solve these problems, it's now. We ain't got to worry about something like what the Democrats would do. We're going to send in a token prop up a new leader, go ahead and assassinate you or get you torn and start civil wars in your country. All the little seedy, dirty stuff that the U.S. unfortunately have been involved in down through the years. I think these countries, since that Trump is not on that, they have a legitimate desire to bring peace and solve these problems. And when it comes down to it, it's, listen, man, here's ideas of how we can all solve the problem and all work out. We can all make out. We can all bring blessings to our country, to our cities, to our nations. We ain't got to do this. How about we all make money? How about we all go ahead, build coalitions, relationships, get some trade and go, as long as it's fair, long as it's fair. Leave everybody else's country alone. Stop with all the globalism and all of that mess. Forget pushing the woke ideology across the globe. You guys do you, we'll do us, okay? And we all will get along fine. I think that's the basic premise of why a lot of countries say, that sounds good to me. Yeah, we don't have to worry about the seediness. We ain't got to worry about the industrial military complex to saying, yeah, you know what? Keep us in this war for about 12 years, okay? And we'll cut you some cheese for your campaign. Stuff like that. Unlike what happened under the Biden administration. More money here. We're going to keep sending money off to this war that can't be won. Because, wait, who's fighting again? You know what? Putin. So let's continue hearing this guy try to go ahead and explain, because he's shocked. He's shocked. How did Trump do it?
But I do agree, yes. So, somehow, some way that changed.
Donald Trump on this one has demonstrated a degree of will, unlike any other president, Republican or Democrat. He has pressed an Israeli prime minister in a way that none of his predecessors have ever done, on an issue that prime minister considers vital to his political survival, and the way he would define Israeli security requirements.
So, and see, that's another thing. I mean, Donald Trump supports Israel 100%, but he also has the respect of Bibi, and Bibi is like, look, and I think people could tell that he wants peace so much that even if he feels Israel is going too far, he'll step in and say, what are you doing? What are you doing? He's not one of those guys that will just say, you know what, I'm going to overlook this, even though, this could end the war because it's Israel. So he legitimately wants to see both of them chill out. Now, this guy right here is doing something that, like I said, I'm just shocked to hear. He's wondering, how did he do it? Well, number one, he has the will to do it. Number one, he has the personnel to do it. He has the right people to do it. And I think he has the character to do it. But yet they want you to overlook this part of what Trump is doing. Because don't forget, they spent 10 years telling you this man was evil. He was anti-Semitic. Now, if he was anti-Semitic, you would think he would go ahead and say, how about y'all all turn on Israel and blow him off the map? Or if because Trump is supposed to be anti-Semitic and he's also Islamophobic. So he hates them both. So the other option would be, how about Bibi, why don't you just blow Palestine off the map? Hey, why don't you practice some of my dictatorship policies and just blow them off the map, since everybody already swearing up and down you're trying to commit genocide. Why are you slow walking the Jenna? Why don't you just go ahead and drop a nuke on them and get rid of it? But he didn't do that. You got to be kidding me. So now, how are they going to, once again, get dummies to believe that somehow, in spite of this unnecessary effort, because honestly, that war technically ain't got nothing to do with us. Just like the war over there in Ukraine and Russia. We could sit back and say, man, let these folks kill each other. Ain't got nothing to do with us. But for some reason, Trump has made it his mission to intervene and do everything he can to save lives. So now, wouldn't it also be applicable that Trump is trying to intervene in these S-hole ran Democrat cities with all of this violence and chaos? And he wants to actually step in, bring civility, bring safety, bring some peace, and save lives. Wouldn't you be able to apply that same rationale from him trying to stop all these conflicts on the global stage to bringing it to the home front, going right into these cities and saying, how many black kids are getting killed over the weekend here? Y'all, we can stop this. You know that, right? We can stop this. But we're going to find out later that some Democrats, for some reason, think that all of a sudden now, you know, his character is flawed when it comes down to his own cities and his own states and stuff.
So this one, Chris, the sun, the moon, and the stars, Hamas is weaker. The Arabs impose significant pressure. The Qataris and Turks, not an Arab country, a Muslim country, and Donald Trump. Sun, the moon, and the stars aligned to be able to envision an implementation of the first phase. And from a human point of view, Chris, that's really right now hostages, their families, and Palestinian civilians in Gaza.
Wow. So now, there you have it. You got Trump doing something wonderful, and we're going to see how this all works out. But what is going to be funny is I'm pretty sure, like always, the Democrats are hoping that it all falls apart. Because if they didn't do it, they don't want it to be done. I'm pretty sure they secretly are wishing that, you know what, war break out again. Like every single thing that Trump does, and they got to go ahead and throw mud on it. And they're wishing, hoping that the economy collapses, hoping that his trade deals don't go through. They hoped that, you know, the Iran nuclear facility didn't actually get destroyed. Unbelievable how corrupt and evil and stinking these folks are just for politics. Because they know they're not going to get in and solve nothing. It's going to be a bunch of wolf tickets and go right back to giving money out all over the place and stupid stuff like this. So with that being said, kudos to Trump, even though they snubbed him for the Nobel Peace Prize. But the lady who won it gave props to Trump. Isn't that crazy? Thanks to Donald Trump. So he gets his props one way or another. We all know who should have won that Nobel Peace Prize. They ain't fooling us.
Gorillas in here.